Hi, this tutorial will show you how to create a layer mask in Photoshop. A layer mask will hide certain parts of a picture in order to see more of a background. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do, we need to open Photoshop, and if it's not on your desktop, you're going to find it in the magnifying glass and go ahead and open it here. Second step, we are going to use a picture already on the computer. So instead of saying File New, I would like to say File Open. And I'm going to look for my Photoshop picture folder, and you should have this already on your desktop because you downloaded it before you started the video. So I'm going to use the sunflower JPEG and say Open. So as you can see, I have my sunflower here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to cut out this picture of the sunflower and move it, scale it to the side to make it a little bit bigger. So what I'd like you to do is, the first thing, we're going to duplicate this background because we don't want to mess it up. We don't want to alter it in any way. So I'm going to drag this down and say duplicate the layer. So now I have a background copy. They look exactly the same. I can turn the eyeballs on and off. If I turn that off, it looks exactly the same. If I turn that off, it looks exactly the same. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, we're going to create a layer mask. And this is going to create a mask over the top of this background copy in order to punch through or poke holes into it. So I'm going to click right here, and this says Add Layer Mask. Make sure you're on background copy. And now you'll notice that I have a picture and I have it looks like a layer that we've been working with before right on top of it. So make sure that that's selected. And now what you can do, we can use the paintbrush, and I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. It's a little bit too big. I'm going to make the lines very solid. I can now start painting out, and it doesn't look like anything's happening. So I'm actually going to turn my background off. And you'll notice that I have my checkers in the background there. Oh, I have my opacity down. I'm going to turn that back up. There we go. So what's happening is I'm actually hiding parts of my picture here. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but what I am going to do, I'm going to get it pretty close here, and I can zoom in. I'm going to do Apple Plus to zoom in, and I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller, and I can continue painting this in here like this, taking out all of the different colors. And I'm not doing a very good job right now just because I'm not being very specific. When you do this, I want you to do a much better job of painting this out. So I'm going to take it back to the regular size, and if I bring my background back in, doesn't look like anything has happened. But what I can do is, if I add a new layer and I put this below, and on that layer I can do a gradient, you'll see that my sunflower appears on top of the picture there. So that's pretty cool. Now, if I make a mistake, this is a non-destructive way to paint out layering, or to paint out different parts of the color of the picture. So if I flip-flop or switch my foreground and background, notice how I have the white in the front now? Let me make this a little bit bigger. All we've done is we've masked, oops, I need to make sure that I'm on the right layer. I need to be on the background copy, and I need to be on the layer mask. If I paint back in, oops, I had to flip-flop that again. So what Photoshop has done is they've actually masked or hidden those pixels. So it's a non-destructive way to hide information. So what I want to do is I'm going to actually, I want to take this part out. So I'm going to take all this out, a nice big stroke. And another thing that you can play around with, we talked about feathering. I'm going to take this hardness down, and I'm going to take my opacity down, and I can start fading out the the edges here. Let me move my opacity back up. And what that's doing is it's very slowly fading that picture out so it looks like I just have my sunflower here. So now what you can do, here we go, so there's my layer, and if I turn this back on, I can now move that layer off to the side. So there you go, that's layer masking.